Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Now the fixtures for the 2019-20 season are out. We know who we're going to be playing, we know when, and what I was going to do in this video is just sort of plot our way to winning the title, right? all right, let me rein that back in a bit. Plot our way to the top four? Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. That's a bit more sensible. Or plot our way to the top six the way we've been playing recently. But jokes aside, I'm going to go through the fixture list, take a look at the fixtures, who we've got, when, and what games are winnable, etc., etc. I'd always do this every year when the fixtures come out. Of course, the fixtures, when they come out, they're all of them, they all come out and they're like all Saturday games, right? Saturday, 3 o'clock. We know that, most of these fixtures will get moved because Arsenal, number one, we're in the Europa League. Number two, it's all dependent on TV. So, for instance, our first game of the season has already been moved to a Sunday. It's not going to take place on a Saturday. It's been moved to a Sunday because TV want to show that game, and Sunday's their best day really for showing a lot of these games. That's where they get most of their viewing figures. So that's one of the reasons, apart from being in the Europa League, that so many of Arsenal's games are on a Sunday. And I can tell you, for me personally, sometimes it's a real pain because my son plays football on a Sunday morning as well. So, but anyway, that's my own personal thing. But listen, let's get into the fixtures. First game we have, which is listed there as the 11th, but it's going to be moved to the 12th, as I said, is Newcastle away. Now that is a tough game to start the season on, away to Newcastle. You know what, every season I think to myself, August, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be nice, a nice trip to Bournemouth or Brighton. We never get there, we get Newcastle, right? No disrespect to Newcastle, real party town. Maybe we'll go out there from the night before, but on the pitch it's going to be a tough game. Newcastle, as we know, are going to have new investors. They may be looking to buy a load of players in. Even with the team they got now, they've got a half-decent team and they will be pumped. Those Geordies will be pumped for that first game. So that's a massive game to start off on. Our second game of the season on the 17th is Burnley at home. Now you look on that and say winnable game. Good fixture to start off our home fixtures on. But then Liverpool away. The following week, the 24th, Liverpool away. We know that we've been getting smashed up there for the past few seasons. And you've got to say, the way Liverpool performed at home last season, I don't think they lost a game. They were unbelievable at home. You wouldn't expect to get much out of that. Followed by Tottenham at home, right, on the 31st of August. So again, another tough game. If you look in that first month, if we haven't got our act together, you could look at that and you could say 3 possible defeats if we haven't got our act together. However, if you look at it as well, you can say, not a bad start, because we beat Newcastle away from home last season. We beat Burnley at home. All right, we lost to Liverpool away and I wouldn't expect to get anything out of that. We beat Tottenham at home. So if it went to form like that, what it did last season, that would be a good start to the season. Then we get into September, Watford away. Again, another tough game. However, we beat Watford away last season. Remember that. Then Villa at home, then Manchester United away. Is United away a tough game again? It will be a tough game because they're going to rebuild. They're going to be better than they were last year. But we did get a draw there last year. But listen, 2 tough games there in September. Then we get into October. Now, October is a little bit more favourable. Is a month where you'd say, right, we can get some wins under our belt. Bournemouth at home, Sheffield Wednesday away on the 19th, and then Crystal Palace at home. You would look at those 3 games and say that should be 3 victories for Arsenal. And then November, Wolves at home, that will be tough. We drew with them last season, but winnable game. Leicester away, that will be tough. Leicester have been, we see the sort of team that Brendan Rodgers is building there. I think they're going to get better next season as well. Southampton at home, we've got a good record against Southampton at home. We should win that. And Norwich away. So again, in that month, you could look in there and say, winnable games. I mean, listen, it's all going to be this season. What it's going to be is Arsenal need to get their away form together. If our away form is on point, those are winnable games away from home, Leicester and Norwich. If it's not, then it'd be like last year. But definitely a favourable month, I'd say, in November. Then we get into December. December's always been that sort of month where things start to dip for Arsenal, you know, we fall into problems. Not a bad December, if you look at it. It's tough games in there. Well, actually, no, I'm going to rephrase that. It is a tough December. Tough December because there's a lot of away games in there. So we start off with Brighton at home. Again, I'd say a game that we could win. But then we go to West Ham away. We played poorly there last season. We got beat. Winnable game away from home, but tough. Manchester City at home. Well, we know last year they came to our place. They beat us up, you know, but we're at home. Everton away. Last season, we lost there. Poor performance that was. That'll be a tough game. Bournemouth away on Boxing Day. Again, won't be easy, but we did win there last season. It is a winnable game. And then Chelsea at home. Beat Chelsea at home last season. So winnable, but again, tough. So December's a bit of a tough month. Then we get into January, and January again is not the easiest month because we start off with Manchester United at home. It will be tough, but winnable. Crystal Palace away. Palace always seem to give us a good game away from home. We drew there last year. Sheffield United at home, you'd expect us to win that. And then Chelsea away. We've got a poor record against Chelsea away. We'll need to turn that around. So that again is quite a difficult month. See, you know, it's a mixed month. There's a couple of winnable games in there, but a couple of difficult ones in there as well. Moving into February, Burnley away, never easy. We did win there last season though. Newcastle at home, you'd expect us to win, as you'd expect us to beat Everton at home. And then rounding off the month with Manchester City away, which of course, you know, that would be tough. We've got a terrible record there over the past few seasons. Then we get into March, West Ham at home, Brighton away, Southampton away. Again, the key to these months is the away form. You look on that month and you say, right, we could get 3 wins in that month. We could beat West Ham, capable of beating Brighton, capable of beating Southampton, but they're away from home. And it's been that away form that has really been the thing that has scuppered Arsenal over the last few years. Then we get into April, right? We're starting to look at the running now, right? So if we've got chances of getting into the top 4, you start to look at your running and you start to say, well, you know, winnable games. Although we did do that last season, and we had winnable games and we absolutely flopped. Well, if I look at it again this time round, again, there's winnable games in there. It's probably a harder running than it was last season, but not ridiculously hard. April, start off with Norwich at home. You would expect us to win that game. Wolves away. Now, we got beat badly there last season, but it will be a tough place to go to. But who, you know, if we've got our act together, it's a place where you're capable of going, getting a result, getting a draw. Leicester at home, good record against Leicester at home. We normally do beat them. Tottenham away, of course, we drew there last season, but we know that that will be a tough game in their new stadium, our first visit to their new stadium. And then getting into May, we've got Liverpool at home. We drew with them at home last season, but we know it'll be a tough game because they are a top side. So you may not expect us to get anything out of that. But then the last 2 games, say we were knocking on the door of possibly getting into the top 4, I think the last 2 games of the season are favourable. Aston Villa away and Watford at home. Watford at home, you'd expect us to win that as our final game. And as I said, Villa the week before that away, newly promoted, you'd expect us, you know, Villa could be a team that, you know, may be struggling to stay up, you know, could be fighting for their lives. We don't know obviously what the situation is going to be. But those 2 games in the running, the final 2 games, if we're hovering near that top 4, you look on that and you'd say, yeah, favourable. So when I look at the fixtures for the season, I think, on the whole, when I look on it, there are some really tough months in there, but I think it's a really balanced fixture list. It is a difficult start, I think. You know, we always look at sort of like the first 6 games when you're starting the season. And those first 6 games are Newcastle away, Burnley at home, Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, Watford away, Villa at home. I think that's a balanced start. You know, I think there will be points on the board come mid-September. Then after that, you know, I mean, you get into Manchester United away as that final game of September. But as I said, October, balanced month. November, a balanced and a month with a lot of winnable games in that month. Same with December, difficult month, a lot of games in that month, but lots of games in there as well that can be won. January, even though it starts off really difficult with Manchester United at home and ends in a difficult way with Chelsea away, sandwich in between there, 2 games that you'd say in Palace and Sheffield United that we could win. February, again, tough, but 2 home games there in Newcastle, Everton that I think normally we'd win those games. Burnley away, good record there over the last couple of seasons. Round it up with City away, that will be tough. We know we wouldn't really expect to get anything out of that. Then March again, quite a balanced month. West Ham home, normally win that. Brighton away, Southampton away. Get our away form together, winnable. And then Norwich starts off April. Again, I think a balanced month. You've got Tottenham in there, away at the end of the month. But again, and you've got Wolves away, that will be tough. But again, a balanced month. Balanced with tough games and winnable games. And then finishing off the season in May, 3 games. Remember, the season finishes on the 17th. The Euros are at the end of next season. So the season finishes off a bit early. Liverpool at home, Villa away, Watford at home. Again, balanced. And I really do look at that fixture list and I think it's a balanced fixture list with difficult games in each month, but definitely games in there that are winnable, games in there you would expect us to win. So if Arsenal can go out there this summer, bring in some good players and players that I think this is the most important thing for Unai Emery going into next season, the away form. There's a lot of questions that he didn't answer last year when it came to our away form. Our away form over the past few years has been disgusting. I'm not even going to say poor, disgusting, right? And if he can address that, and I think he knows that he needs some players with the mentality that when you go away from home and you concede a goal or whatever, you go 1-0 down or you're under a bit of pressure, because basically the difference between away from home and home is pressure. More pressure at home, you're used to the environment, you've got your fans behind you. Away from home, the fans are not behind you. You know, you've got a little battery of fans in the corner. The fans are on your case and you're under pressure constantly for that game, and we will under that pressure. So if he can get in the players that have got the right mentality that can deal with that pressure away from home, and we can start getting some wins away from home, we can really change our fortunes around, because we had a good form at home last season. And I also think it's going to be very important for Unai Emery. If he's to have a successful season next year, it's going to be very important for him to go to one of our rivals in the top 6 and get a win. You know, last season, Manchester United draw. Chelsea, we lost there. Drew at Tottenham when we should really have won. We had that last minute penalty miss. Lost at City, and we lost at Liverpool. We didn't beat any of our close rivals in that top 6 away from home. We had a couple of draws, but didn't beat any of them. I think Emery, for it to be a bit of a game changer for him, he needs to win 1 or 2 of those games away to our big rivals, and then he needs to address that away form. If he can do that, and as I said, I think it's a mentality thing. I think it's about bringing in a couple of players with the right mentality. It's also about defending and having a plan and structure away from home. But if we can do that, then we can finish into the top 4. But it's going to be tough. You know, every team in the Premier League is improving. There's lots of money still flying around the Premier League. You know what I mean? You look at teams, their ability to purchase players that will demand big wages. They're able to do that from top to bottom in the league. And I really do think that, you know, we're going to have to do better, a lot better than what we did last year. I mean, when I look at last season, you see 2 outstanding teams in Liverpool and Manchester City. One of the reasons they looked so good was because the chasing pack behind them was so poor. Look how many games Tottenham lost. I think it was about 13 or 14 games. Unbelievable to lose that amount of games and still get in the top 4. We lost loads of games. Chelsea lost loads of games. United were terrible. those rivals have to improve. And then if we don't improve next season, look at some of those teams that are coming up hot on the heels of the top 6. Wolves are a very, very good team with some very good players. They're going to get better. Leicester, manager in Brendan Rodgers, who I rate, and they've got good young players. If they can hold on to Maguires and Chilwells and that, they're going to be a serious, serious threat as well. You know, and then you've got teams like West Ham who are strengthening, got some very good players as well. So it's going to be a big test for Unai Emery come next season. But my overall view of the fixture list is that it's a balanced fixture list for Arsenal. And if we get our away form and get our act together away from home, we can make the top 4. League, forget it. We just haven't got enough yet to challenge for that, but we can make the top 4. What do you guys think? We'd love to get your opinions on the fixtures. We're going to post the fixtures as well in the link below. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know where you think of the real tough periods for Arsenal. Let me know where you think that these periods where we can pick up loads and loads of points. But that is the fixtures. 2019-20, I'm looking forward to it already. We kick off with Newcastle away from home.